So the reason I wanted to make this film is growing up, I loved coming of age high school movies, and I was really excited about making one myself. And it felt really important to be true and honest about what it means to be coming of age in high school nowadays and what teenagers are up against. So, and that's some challenging stuff. So I knew that I wanted to be able to grapple with that in an honest way, but also to have it be super empowering for the young people who are in the film. And so the element of like comedy and playfulness is all about allowing them to like engage with this hard stuff, but in a way that is just so exuberant and alive in the way that they are.
Yeah. Patrick, how did you come onto the film as an EP?
Well, I just believed in the project. I mean, I was honored to be asked to be an EP on it. So it was something, I don't just lend my name to things just for the sake of my own resume. It was a subject that as an American, as an actor, and really as a father, that meant something to me. So we seldom get these opportunities, I think, that you get a project that comes your way to be a part of that really can reflect how you feel in society, and as we all try to figure it out. And I thought the tone, if she could strike this tone, which NB did, was something that you don't get a chance as an actor to play these kinds of roles and be in these kinds of movies. So it's less about playing this kind of role and what the role meant to me. It's about these people in this room and the rest of the great cast and crew and the story that we're trying to tell without it being preachy. Certainly raise questions, reflect how we feel in society, and hopefully do what art has done for thousands of years, which is really inspire, reflect, and move an audience. So for me, it was an easy yes. So in any way I could be a part of as an actor, producer, whatever, I'm in.
Well, beautifully said. And I'm curious for, Alyssa and Sophia, since y'all are most recently in high school out of the rest, how did this script kind of capture your reality as a teenager when, violence has become so unfortunately commonplace?
Yeah, I think that I certainly saw a lot of myself in Meg, particularly in Meg's journey in sort of creating art to spur conversations within her community. I think that that's, something that I hope other kids will be inspired by through this film. It was something that I was personally inspired by. And this is a topic that I think is really, unfortunately, deeply personal to every kid, in the United States. So it was really refreshing, I think, to, as like a young actor, be able to be a part of this narrative and to tell a story from a young person's point of view, because this topic is so it means so much to young people.
Reading the script for the first time, it was so captivating and I was immediately drawn in. And the way that there was so much specificity in the script. And so being able to just use that and play with it and find so much in the scenes that we did, and the exploration of, the experience of how it is to be a teenager in this generation. And I thought it was done so beautifully. And I saw a lot of myself in my character Penny, and I personally related a lot to every aspect of it.
I'm also curious about, tell me about, I guess, the emotional weight behind this musical, not only for Meg, but also for Val, being that, someone they loved was actually involved.
Yeah, I was really attracted to this movie. Like Patrick said, as a mother who has, teenagers in school and what it means to be a teenager today, it just feels like any coming of age movie really has to reflect that. And it's a subject that is hard to talk about. And it's always talked about in this very us against them way. And that's not the way it ought to be. We really need to have something from the teenage point of view. Not unlike the movies that I made as a teenager, but, times have changed, and what it means to be a teenager today has completely shifted.
I want to hear about your characters, Patrick and Margaret, how they're kind of opposing reactions to this musical, whereas, the teacher's supportive and the principal is, putting her foot down.
Yeah, I think what our thing is I want to stop their expression because I think it's inappropriate. Also, it's just the complete cognitive dissonance of me not allowing them to have their space and their pain and their suffering. It's like the older generation really saying, you can't do that. You can't say that. Don't do that just because it makes me uncomfortable. Like I'm not thinking about your feelings. And I think she's trying to stop him allowing them to do what they're doing.
Yeah, it's interesting with Mr. Shelby. I had a lot of questions about it because he's got his own catharsis, his own therapy that he needs to go through. I like that it's a more private. I mean, it's clear in the storytelling that he, without giving too much away, that he's got a history with the event, right? With the shooting that took place, his role in that, his injury from that, so there's clearly scars, physical, emotional, that he never dealt with, as a lot of adults do, right? As a lot of people do. You don't deal with it until you have to. And so I think he's lived a life of being really selfless. So with watching what Meg's going through, I do think it reflects, it's not like we have this own like Mr. Shelby private storyline, but there is this sense when he walks into scenes that he doesn't know how to, he doesn't have all the answers. He wants to support her. He knows as the story goes on, he is very much against, it does become a tete-a-tete here, back and forth, and he's conflicted. And I think as we all are as adults, so there's a lot of, she wrote a very fascinating character. It really was not easy I was constantly sort of like, is this right? Are we doing this the right way? And I really have to, I put my trust in NB to sort of guide his own emotional journey, because if there's anything we learned as adult actors in the movie, sorry kids, but it's that we have to be selfless, because it's really not our story, which is exactly, not to get too political, but it's exactly how we need to sort of respond to, because we can talk to our blue in the face. Washington can talk to their blue in the face about how sad it is and we're not doing enough. But the answer probably is in the people that it's affecting the most, both clearly affecting the most in the most obvious sense, but also in an emotional sense, in the scars that they're going to take with them, whether they're a victim or not, whether it's how close to home it is or not. The fact that they're just going through lockdown drills from pre-K is super troubling, and it's very, very centralized to only us in the world. So I think, not to get on a soapbox, but that's
I will
where
say
we land.
also in terms of like the adult characters and what you were saying about Principal Linda, that she's trying to stop them, but I feel like for me it was really important in creating these characters that they really are doing their best, and they're really like no one is the bad guy, right? And everyone is trying to figure it out. But I think what's different between the adults and the kids is that the adults are carrying so much fear, and the kids have this like curiosity and this willingness like to go there, and I think the adults are trying to protect them, but maybe in ways that aren't so helpful.
Yeah, that's great.
And you've all kind of touched on this, but I do love the message of countering fear with kindness. And everyone feel free to chime in, but like, why would you say that is most important right now?
Countering fear with kindness. I mean, I think that so much of what ails us as a society is absolutely rooted in fear of people that we don't know, fear of people that we don't understand, fear of getting hurt. And I think it's this fear just creates a wall between human beings, and curiosity and kindness is just the way to bring those walls down, because it allows us to see each other as human beings with that level of empathy that we need. Because I think that at the end of the day, what we want is just to live our lives with kindness and with empathy. And I think fear is what gets in the way of that.
I'll both answer your question and bring the dog into the equation. It's true.
It all comes
'Cause
back to
why do you
Lucia
think
eventually.
The dogs that, if you think about watch this metaphor, guys. the reason that dogs are domesticated and live in our lives, it was because it became survival of the kindest. It was the dogs that wanted to be kind to people, not destroy them. And those became the dogs that the animals that we over throughout thousands of years of history that we've domesticated and become our pets. So
No, they've domesticated us. I mean, let's be real.
but that's how it always ends up, survival of the kindest. It just does, you know.
Thank you so much. I really enjoyed talking to you all. It was such a pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you.